first off, could you introduce yourself for our viewers?
I'm Kady O'Malley. I write the Inside the Queensway blog for Macleans.ca.
And how long have you been up here on the Hill, Kady?
I've been up here on the Hill for about 12 years. I started at the Lobby Monitor and Art Publications, and then I did freelance for the Hill Times for about 8 years, and I've been at Macleans. It'll be three years in November.
Now, you didn't blog at the Hill Times. You were a regular journalist. You did long-form journalism. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference?
You know, it's interesting. There's a lot of what I think I find is most challenging, but also most fun for me, is that when you do long-form journalism, a lot of the time you go to an event, you experience it, and then you sort of you kind of read others or talk to others or get their feelings, and you then give your impressions of what the event was after the fact. So you put more time into it, but it's not the immediacy of the reaction. What I love doing and what I love about live blogging is it's kind of without a net, which means when something happens, I write what my immediate reaction is. Sometimes other people might feel the same way and sort of share that opinion. Other times they may think, well, why is she so excited about that point? No one who wrote about the story 3 hours later cared about that point. But for me, I like the fact that it is sort of, it's improv and it's almost real time. I mean, it is really real time.
Now, the lines are sort of blurring up and around here on Parliament Hill. We've had online publications like Romeo St. Martin's Politics Watch, which was represented up here for years. We've had some other bloggers who get special access on occasion to do individual interviews. Now, you're a journalist who blogs, and I'd be a former student journalist who's now a citizen journalist. Do you think at some point any of this is going to matter?
I think that in terms of the actual logistics, things like access, I mean, on the Hill we've got the press gallery, which decides which journalists are given access to the Hill, the ability to be in the foyer, to attend press conferences, that sort of thing. I suspect we are going to start to see more requests from bloggers, and what we kind of have to wrestle with, and this is something that, I mean, we all sort of discuss amongst ourselves, is at what point there's being a citizen journalist, but then you've also got, say, a partisan journalist who's coming at something from a particular point of view, which is fine, that's not that this is a bad thing, but do we really want press conferences where, you know, say a liberal blogger is asking questions of a conservative MP, and then an NDP blogger, and then a conservative blogger? Well, at some point, don't the people who aren't working on behalf of or in the interest of a particular party kind of get shut out of that discussion?
And the convention around Parliament Hill is that most columnists don't ask questions in the scrums.
Yeah,
some do on occasion when they need some clarity, but the vast majority of your Andrew Coynes, your Paul Welleses, and your Lawrence Martins and John Ivison won't stick their nose in, because they are viewed as having a bit of a view one way or the other.
And if they do, it's not to be an attack. I think the concern that the gallery would have, or then the concern that us as journalists have, is we don't want we've always had a rule that says, say an industry association that puts out a newsletter, well, just because they put out a publication, say, the paper manufacturers, just because that doesn't mean that they get a Hill membership. There's actual criteria, and if you have a commercial interest, or if you're not doing it sort of for journalism and doing it to earn a living as a journalist, then it's probably not appropriate for you to be given the same access as regular media. I'm not saying this is perfect, and obviously with the changing technology and the blurring of lines, we're probably going to have to look at that and figure out if it needs to be modernized. But at the same time, we don't want to turn this into, I think the ultimate nightmare would be sort of press conferences are nothing but a bunch of lobbyists for one industry or another, either overt or covert under the form of being sort of assertive bloggers, sort of taking over instead of like the Canadian Press or CBC, and that's what the concern is. Now,
can you tell me a little bit about the logistics of live blogging on the Hill? Because not everybody can do it, not a lot of people do it, because you need 2 Blackberries to do that. There's no Wi-Fi on Parliament Hill yet, although much promised Wi-Fi. It's never going to happen, folks.
I know.
So really, I would go so far as to say you are Parliament Hill's only live blogger.
David Aiken does an effort something, but he is trapped by the fact that he has to do it on his laptop. I am the only person I know who files and who live blogs on her BlackBerry, because I have little thumbs. That's really the only thing it is.
What program do you use to do that?
You know what? We use WordPress for Macleans, and I just log into the actual. It's by the way not the most BlackBerry friendly app in the world. I'm really hoping someone comes up with a BlackBerry specific app.
You hear that, Automatic?
Be really great, Automatic. But yeah, so because I'm able to do that, and because I'm able to type I type faster on a BlackBerry than on a laptop keyboard, I'm much more mobile too, which is what I love. I can do committee meetings, but I can also wander out to the scrums.
And you don't seem to make spelling mistakes. How's that?
I don't really know. I thought I was totally dependent on Red Squiggly, but apparently I'm slightly better than I used to be. I do make a few, and sometimes I get people's names. I'm terrible with the spelling of people's names, and I always apologize for it. But again, that's the real-time, nature of live blogging, and no one's gotten too angry at me yet.
Awesome, thanks so much. That's Kady O'Malley from Macleans.ca. She is the live blogging maven of Parliament Hill.